Zelda right now is at an all-time high as far as rumors and leaks go. I feel like people are just craving this new Ocarina of Time remake. I've been covering all the leaks and all the rumors with you guys over the last couple of weeks about this game because it seems like it is gonna happen. And just based on that whole list of leaked games where they did say the Star Fox game was gonna come out in June or whatever, so that basically does give this whole list a lot more confirmation, I guess I'd say, which I might save that for a whole nother video because this I want to talk about Zelda. We have a lot of Zelda news. I want to talk about stuff with Ocarina of Time, when this game could come out, when they should hopefully announce this next Zelda game, where it seems like it will be the same overall, I guess, storyline of Ocarina of Time, but there will be a lot of additional features, additional content, completely new graphics engine. So basically a whole new game from the ground up, just with the same storyline. I'm sure they're going to also add some extra storyline and stuff to the game. But I wanted to bring this up before I talk about that. So this is the announced first party titles for the Switch 2 currently. This is my big point with the Ocarina of Time game, with the new 3D Mario game. Literally everything from that leaked list of Nintendo and just the whole Nintendo Direct as a whole. Yoshi comes out in May, Star Fox, June, Splatoon in July, Fire Emblem sometime this year, and then of course Winds and Waves coming out next year, probably November, just the typical time of a Pokemon game. But quite literally, what's in August, what's September, or what other games could come out in June and July, you know what I'm saying? This is why I think it is dire for Nintendo to host a Nintendo Direct in June, and I do think it's gonna happen. I personally am feeling pretty confident in the fact that they will be doing another Nintendo Direct that will finally announce some of the big Switch 2 games. They're gonna raise the price of the Switch 2 eventually as well, so I feel like they'd kind of want to get more hype around the console now before the price hike does happen, because I'm not an analyst or anything, but I would assume the sales would take a little bit of a dip when the price hike does happen, just because obviously it's going to be more expensive. You'd imagine they'd want to, get a bunch of hype, talk about the upcoming games for that exact reason, so people could still be buying the Switch before the price hike and also after the price hike happens, right? In yesterday's video, we did talk about how Nintendo themselves claim that they are getting ready to basically drop some big titles, big games because of the price hike. So I think Ocarina of Time is still happening, but what do fans really want from this Ocarina of Time remake? I feel like it's very safe to say that people want the same overall, I guess, art style, like the art direction, except with modern graphics. I don't think it would be the smartest idea to give it Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom style graphics, because while those are great, I think it needs to stay within that kind of series, I guess I'd call it, because Ocarina of Time is obviously a different Zelda game, and I feel like the original graphics are just so unique already. And just like this cool video on screen, I totally could see them doing something like this, where it's very reminiscent of the original art style, but just obviously modern, 4K, 1080p, whatever the heck they do. They need to keep it unique. And that's one thing about the Zelda games. I feel like a lot of them just have different, unique art styles, and I think fans love that. It just keeps things fresh overall. I could just only imagine this game would have really dense forests, realistic graphics, but not like too realistic, because obviously we don't want things to be all based on realism. By realistic, I just mean like, dang, like that is a cool art style for a video game. I would love if they could add to the creepiness, like add to the weird suspense with some of the game, because with modern graphics, I feel like that could go a very, very long way. I feel like the buildings, the towns could really thrive with a modern version of this game. Obviously, better cutscenes, facial expressions. Think about Star Fox, they added content. It seems like they've added a lot of cutscenes. I'm not exactly sure how much they've added to the gameplay of the game. Like, I don't know if they've added a bunch of additional missions or levels or whatever, but we do know that they have at least added stuff to the game. So with Ocarina of Time, that is obviously Zelda. Zelda is way bigger than Star Fox, and I just don't think that they're gonna mess this game up. I feel like Nintendo really love Zelda. Like, they hold Zelda so close to their heart. One thing that I think is really cool and very promising is that fans want remakes, remasters, ports, whatever it may be, of literally every single Zelda game. Pretty much every single Zelda game, at least, which says a lot. That says that these games are good. That shows Nintendo that fans want Zelda games. Even the old ones, the new and old games, really do hold up, and that is saying a lot, because, a lot of people want, Twilight Princess, which we do have information about later, which is pretty interesting. Obviously, Ocarina of Time. I feel like I haven't really seen too many people talk about, like, Minish Cap or Four Swords, but I know there are people out there that definitely do love those games. With the Ocarina of Time remake, I think we also need smoother combat, just modern camera controls, because a lot of the older games, the camera controls definitely can be confusing or clunky, but that's just how gaming was back in the day, so that is definitely something that, like, without a doubt, they will change. Adding new rooms or modifying the dungeon layouts definitely would go a long way. Maybe different type of boss battle. additional phases, more content, you know, more dungeons, more bosses, more secret rooms, Easter eggs. I feel like this is a very fitting game for the tribute of the 40th anniversary of Zelda. And I still think it's possible that this game could be dropping this year because, like this chart shows, we don't really have any first party games after the summertime as of right now that have been announced. So based on a lot of the leaks that we have had, the 3D Mario game might be coming out next year in 2027. Winds and Waves obviously coming out in 2027 as well, which are two very big games, and those are probably going to be $70 or $80 video games. Very expensive, but with Ocarina of Time, I feel like this year would be absolutely perfect for a release of this game. Although, you could also say that maybe they're going to drop this game after the Zelda movie comes out, because we did have Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 brought over to the Switch, and then, of course, Mario Galaxy movie came out where they featured Star Fox. And guess what they did? We all predicted this would happen, and the leaks literally told us they did eventually announce a Star Fox game because there was hype around Star Fox. So with that same kind of mindset, you could say, well, they're probably just going to drop a new Zelda game, or, you know, Ocarina of Time, after the Zelda movie, or at least very close to the movie, maybe a little beforehand. But I still feel like the end of this year would be perfect because Ocarina of Time is kind of thought of as one of the best Zelda games of all time, which, let me know your favorite Zelda game. I know you guys all have different opinions. I would absolutely love to know. Every Zelda game is just so unique. I mean, I don't know, man. There's just something about Zelda that speaks to a lot of people. I'm not sure how far in development they are of this game. I could totally imagine them announcing this game this summer because they typically do announce Zelda stuff in June. I made a whole video going through like the history of the big Zelda, you know, anniversary announcements, and it's typically in June, and that is lining up directly with what I guess rumors have been saying about when the next Nintendo Direct is going to happen. And honestly, just based on Nintendo's history and what they have been doing recently, it just kind of all aligns up. In a recent interview, Furukawa, Nintendo's president, stated that they plan a wide selection of games for the Switch 2 to counter the console's price hike. Obviously good news because that means the game should be better to make up for that price hike. Does this make you imagine a huge Nintendo Direct in June? From my perspective, that would be the best thing to do, announce a ton of big titles 2 months before the console's price increase. So in this next Nintendo Direct, it would be smart for them to just announce a 3D Mario game. It doesn't have to come out. They could just announce that it exists. That still will make people feel incentivized to actually buy a Switch 2 now or even later, or ask for it for Christmas. Obviously, the 40th anniversary of Zelda. They have to do something, and of course, the movie is part of that anniversary, but I feel like Ocarina of Time is a perfect game for Remake for that anniversary. Of course, more announcements for Fire Emblem, and then other surprises. Like, definitely they will announce other random games, because Nintendo have been silent. We haven't had a Nintendo Direct recently, so that's exactly why a lot of people do think it's going to happen in June, and that's exactly why, if they do host a general Direct, they will announce something big, 100%, because of this list right here. Literally, we know of everything. We know every single game. We know all the release dates of their future games, besides, you know, Fire Emblem. But aside from that, everything we know about. As a company, and just based on what Nintendo typically do, they gotta give some more hype. They will be giving more hype. They have had so much hype this year. The movie, partner directs, tree houses, releases of games, you know, like Pokopia came out, which did sell the exact same amount, basically, as Fire Red Leaf Green. However, the big difference is Fire Red Leaf Green were on the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Pokopia is a Switch 2 exclusive. So the Switch 2 has sold about 20 million units. So Pokopia is selling 4 million copies with a console that has sold 20 million units. That's basically like 1 in every 5 owners of a Switch 2 have Pokopia, which is very huge, and that is a very successful game. Pokopia is totally going to be a game that lasts a long time, like throughout the entire Switch 2 lifespan. So I think that's pretty good news for Pokemon and just Nintendo to kind of keep branching out and making unique games. So based on what I've talked about so far, like what I think should be in this Ocarina of Time remake, basically more confirmation that it's probably still going to happen. Not even to mention that we have patents out there from Nintendo about like additional features and stuff for the game, Ocarina of Time specifically, at least I believe, and I was told these were for Ocarina of Time specifically, or at least a Zelda game. What do you think? Do you think Ocarina of Time will still be that remake? Do you think this whole list of leaked Nintendo games are all correct? This is just one of those things where we're gonna have to wait to see what's announced and just kind of keep crossing off the list, you know, checking things off and like, yep, this was right, this was right. And I'd say after we get like 1 or 2 more announcements that confirms other things on this list, I think it's safe to say the whole list will become accurate. Twilight Princess has an unofficial port to the PC that has a lot of extra features and quality to life. Basically, that means like Nintendo themselves did not do this. This is not from Nintendo bringing it over to PC. A lot of people are talking about this, and Twilight Princess is one of those games that a lot of people want a remake of or something, like a port, whatever it may be. So the long-awaited Dusk, the unofficial enhanced port of the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, has just been released on PC and iOS and Android coming too. It basically takes everything from GameCube, Wii, and Wii U versions of Twilight Princess to add high resolution and a whole host of other features, improvements, and quality of life options. Here are just some of the additions mentioned in the trailer. I won't read everything here because that would take forever, but if you do want to pause and read, I recommend it because lots of things have been added to this. Achievements, cheats and stuff. It's really, really interesting. And here's just a little bit of that. I mean, you could see, bro, this looks awesome. Nintendo, man, they are not gonna be happy about this one, but would you guys want a modern remake of Twilight Princess? Like, basically what this Ocarina of Time game is apparently going to be, just based on how it's a completely remade game, just based on the overall original storyline. Would you guys want that for Twilight Princess? Ember Lab also said that they would think working on a Zelda game would be awesome. That's the team behind Kenna Bridge of Spirits, and in its upcoming sequel, they have said in a new interview that they would absolutely love to work on a Zelda game. They're all big Zelda fans at the studio, and the franchise is a major inspiration for them when they were children. Basically, they said if an opportunity came to create something in the Zelda world, they would think that'd be exciting. I think that is good news because obviously nothing is confirmed. They're not working on a Zelda game, but if they want to, and if they were ever given the opportunity to, I feel like that'd be great because they seem passionate about it and they probably would deliver an amazing Zelda game. I would honestly want to see this happen. I'm sure a lot of fans would actually like that, and I feel like just having a new company work on a game, it brings about a lot of new creativity, and that's always an amazing thing. Anyway, let me know all your thoughts about today's video. Zelda, man, it's been a center topic recently. Let me know all your theories as well for this future Ocarina of Time game, your favorite Zelda game that you would want to see a complete remake of. Also, if you guys don't mind subscribing to the channel to help me reach my goal of 10,000 subscribers. You guys all rock so much. If you guys are watching this from the video, you are a real one, and I really do appreciate it. Have a blessed day, everyone. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.